Have you ever felt like you don't quite fit in? Like there's something different about you that sets you apart from everyone else? Maybe you've had strange experiences that you can't explain, or you feel a deep connection to something bigger than yourself. If any of this sounds familiar, you might be what many call a chosen one. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chosen one? That sounds like something out of a movie. And you're right, we often hear about chosen ones in stories and legends. But the truth is, chosen ones aren't just characters in books or films. They're real people, living among us, often unaware of their special role in the world. Today, we're going to talk about the real signs that you might be a chosen one. I'm going to share 5 clear signs that could mean you're meant for something extraordinary. But don't worry if you don't have all these signs. Even having one could mean you're on a special path. Before we dive in, I want you to know that being a chosen one isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about having a unique purpose and set of gifts that you're meant to use to help the world. So whether you turn out to be a chosen one or not, remember that you're special and important in your own way. Now, let's get into the signs. By the end of this video, you might realize that those odd experiences or feelings you've had all your life actually mean something big. You might discover that you're not weird or out of place. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, with a special role to play in the world. So, are you ready to find out if you might be a chosen one? Let's go. Before we get into the signs, let's talk about what we mean when we say chosen one. A chosen one is someone who's believed to have a special purpose or destiny. It's someone who's been picked or chosen for an important task or role in the world. Now, this doesn't mean chosen ones are superheroes with magical powers, although some people believe they might have special abilities. Instead, think of chosen ones as people who are here to make a big difference. They might be meant to help others, to spread important messages, or to bring about positive changes in the world. Being a chosen one isn't about being famous or powerful in the usual way. Many chosen ones live quiet lives, making a difference in small but important ways. They might be teachers who inspire their students, healers who help people feel better, or simply kind people who brighten everyone's day. The idea of chosen ones shows up in many different cultures and belief systems. Some religions talk about prophets or saints who were chosen by God. Some spiritual traditions believe in old souls who come back to earth with a mission. Even in everyday life, we sometimes say someone was born to do something when they're really good at it. So why does it matter if you're a chosen one or not? Well, understanding that you might be a chosen one can help explain a lot of things in your life. It can help make sense of experiences you've had or feelings you've never understood. It can give you a sense of purpose and direction. And most importantly, it can help you understand how you can best help others and make the world a better place. But here's something really important to remember. Even if you're not a chosen one, that doesn't make you any less special or important. Every single person has gifts and talents that the world needs. Every person has the power to make a positive difference. So whether you're a chosen one or not, your life has meaning and purpose. As we go through the signs of being a chosen one, don't worry if they don't all fit you. And don't feel bad if none of them do. This video isn't just for people who might be chosen ones. It's for anyone who wants to understand themselves better and find their place in the world. So, are you ready to learn about the first sign that you might be a chosen one? Let's dive in. The first big sign that you might be a chosen one is having a strong sense of purpose. This isn't just about knowing what job you want or what goals you have. It's a deep, powerful feeling that you're meant to do something important with your life. If you're a chosen one, you might have felt this sense of purpose from a very young age. Maybe when you were a kid, you always knew you wanted to help people, even if you didn't know exactly how. Or maybe you've always felt drawn to a particular cause or issue, feeling like it's your job to do something about it. This sense of purpose often feels bigger than just personal success or happiness. Chosen ones often feel like they're here to make a real difference in the world. They might feel a strong need to fix problems, help others, or change things for the better. Here's an example of how this might look in everyday life. Let's say there's a woman named Sarah. Ever since she was little, Sarah has felt a strong pull towards nature. She feels happiest when she's outdoors, and she gets really upset when she sees trees being cut down or animals losing their homes. As she grows up, this feeling doesn't go away. Instead, it gets stronger. Sarah might try different jobs or hobbies, but nothing feels quite right unless it's connected to protecting nature. She might become an environmental scientist, start a wildlife rescue, or become an activist fighting against pollution. Whatever she does, she feels like it's what she's meant to do. That's a strong sense of purpose. Now, this sense of purpose doesn't always come with a clear roadmap. Chosen ones often know they're meant to do something important, but they might not know exactly what that is right away. It can take time to figure out how to use their gifts and fulfill their purpose. And that's okay. Part of the journey of a chosen one is discovering how to best use their talents to fulfill their purpose. It's also worth noting that this sense of purpose can sometimes feel like a heavy responsibility. Chosen ones might feel pressure to live up to their calling, or they might feel frustrated when they can't immediately solve all the world's problems. If you feel this way, remember that it's okay to take things one step at a time. Even small actions can make a big difference when they're done with purpose and love. Here's a question for you. Have you ever felt a strong pull towards a particular cause or felt like you're meant to do something important with your life? If so, you might be experiencing this first sign of being a chosen one. Think about times in your life when you felt most fulfilled or most like yourself. Were those times when you were working towards something bigger than yourself? When you were helping others or fighting for a cause you believe in? If so, that might be your sense of purpose shining through. Remember, having a sense of purpose doesn't mean you have to change the whole world overnight. It might mean being the best parent you can be, or being a supportive friend, or doing your job with extra care and attention. What matters is that you feel like what you're doing has meaning and is making a positive difference, no matter how small. As we move on to the next sign, keep this sense of purpose in mind. Think about how it might show up in your life, even in ways you might not have noticed before. And if you don't feel like you have a strong sense of purpose right now, don't worry. Sometimes it takes time to discover our purpose, and that's all part of the journey. Now, let's move on to the second sign that you might be a chosen one. This next sign is something that many chosen ones experience, often from a very young age. Are you ready to find out what it is? The second major sign that you might be a chosen one is having heightened intuition and sensitivity. This means you might be more in tune with your feelings, other people's emotions, and the energy around you than most people are. If you're a chosen one with this trait, you might often just know things without being told. You might be able to sense how someone is feeling even if they're trying to hide it. Or you might walk into a room and immediately pick up on the mood or atmosphere, even if nothing obvious is happening. This heightened intuition can show up in many ways. Here are a few examples. You might have strong gut feelings about people or situations. Maybe you've met someone and instantly felt like you could trust them, or had a bad feeling about a situation that later turned out to be trouble. Chosen ones often have a strong inner voice or intuition that guides them. You might be very empathetic, feeling other people's emotions as if they were your own. This can be both a gift and a challenge. It helps you understand and help others, but it can also be overwhelming at times. You might have vivid dreams that seem meaningful or prophetic. Some chosen ones report having dreams that give them insights or warnings about future events. You might be very sensitive to your environment. This could mean you're strongly affected by things like loud noises, bright lights, or crowded places. You might also be very sensitive to the energy of places, feeling comfortable in some spaces and uneasy in others without knowing why. You might have experienced what some people call psychic moments. Maybe you've thought of someone right before they called, or had a strong feeling that something was going to happen before it did. Let's look at an example of how this heightened intuition might play out in everyday life. Imagine there's a man named Tom. Tom has always been known as a good listener among his friends. What his friends don't know is that Tom doesn't just hear their words. He can sense their emotions too. One day, Tom's friend Mike comes to visit. Mike is smiling and talking about his new job, saying everything is great. But Tom feels a sense of sadness and worry coming from Mike. Following his intuition, Tom gently asks if everything is really okay. At first, Mike insists he's fine, but after a little while, he opens up about his fears and struggles with the new job. Because of Tom's intuition, Mike gets the support he needs, even though he hadn't planned to talk about his problems. This kind of intuition and sensitivity can be a powerful tool for chosen ones. It helps them understand people and situations on a deeper level, which can be crucial for fulfilling their purpose. However, it's important to note that this sensitivity can also be challenging. Chosen ones might feel overwhelmed by other people's emotions or by busy, noisy environments. They might need more alone time to recharge and process all the information they're picking up. If you have this kind of heightened intuition and sensitivity, it's important to learn how to manage it. This might mean setting boundaries to protect your energy, finding quiet time to recharge, and learning to trust your intuition while also balancing it with logical thinking. Here's a question to think about. Have you ever had experiences where you just knew something without being told? Or times when you felt other people's emotions very strongly? If so, you might be experiencing this second sign of being a chosen one. It's worth noting that not all chosen ones will have the exact same experiences with intuition and sensitivity. Some might be more intuitive about people, while others might be more in tune with places or situations. Some might have very dramatic psychic-like experiences, while for others, it might be more of a subtle knowing. As we move on to the next sign, keep thinking about your own experiences with intuition and sensitivity. Have there been times in your life when following your intuition led you to something important? Or times when your sensitivity helped you understand or help someone in a meaningful way? Remember, having heightened intuition and sensitivity doesn't automatically make you a chosen one, and not all chosen ones will have these traits. But if you do have them, they can be powerful tools for understanding the world around you and fulfilling your purpose. Now, let's move on to the third sign that you might be a chosen one. This next sign is something that often sets chosen ones apart from others in a very noticeable way. Are you curious to find out what it is? Let's dive in. The third significant sign that you might be a chosen one is having unusual life experiences. These are events or occurrences in your life that seem out of the ordinary, hard to explain, or even miraculous. Many chosen ones report having experiences that don't fit neatly into what most people consider normal life. These unusual experiences can take many forms. Here are some examples. Synchronicities. These are meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be just chance. For instance, you might think of a rare book and then find it in a secondhand store the next day, or run into exactly the right person to help you with a problem you've been struggling with. Vivid spiritual or mystical experiences. This could include feeling a deep connection to a higher power, having out-of-body experiences, or sensing the presence of spiritual beings. Unexplainable physical phenomena. Some chosen ones report experiences like objects moving on their own, lights flickering when they're emotional, or electronics behaving strangely around them. Prophetic dreams or visions. You might have dreams that later come true, or sudden visions while awake that give you important information. Near-death experiences or miraculous recoveries. Some chosen ones have survived against all odds from accidents or illnesses, often with stories of spiritual encounters during these times. Strong connections to nature or animals. You might find that plants grow unusually well in your care, or that animals are naturally drawn to you. Time distortions. Some chosen ones report experiencing time differently, like time slowing down or speeding up in significant moments. Let's look at an example of how these unusual experiences might show up in someone's life. Imagine a woman named Lisa. Throughout her life, Lisa has had a series of experiences that she can't quite explain. When Lisa was a child, she had an imaginary friend. But unlike most children's imaginary friends, Lisa seemed to know things that Lisa couldn't have known. The friend would sometimes give Lisa information about future events that would then come true. As Lisa grew older, she noticed other strange things happening. She would often think of a song, and then it would play on the radio moments later. She found that she could often sense when a loved one was in trouble, even if they were far away. Once, during a particularly stressful time in her life, Lisa woke up to find that all the clocks in her house had stopped at the same time. These experiences made Lisa feel different from others. She often felt like she was living in two worlds, the normal, everyday world that everyone else seemed to inhabit, and another world full of meaningful coincidences and unexplainable events. If you're a chosen one, you might have had experiences similar to Lisa's, or entirely different ones that still fall outside what most people consider normal. The key is that these experiences often leave you feeling like there's more to the world than what we can see and touch. It's important to note that having unusual experiences doesn't mean you're imagining things or that something is wrong with you. For many chosen ones, these experiences are an important part of their journey. They often serve as wake-up calls, pushing the chosen one to question their understanding of reality and to seek deeper meaning in life. However, these experiences can also be confusing or even frightening, especially if you don't understand what's happening. If you're having unusual experiences, it can be helpful to keep a journal to track them. This can help you notice patterns and make sense of what's happening. It's also important to find people you trust to talk to about these experiences. This might be a spiritual advisor, a therapist who's open to spiritual experiences, or others who have had similar experiences. Here's a question to reflect on. Have you had experiences in your life that seemed too unusual to be coincidence? Times when you felt like you were witnessing something beyond the ordinary world? If so, you might be experiencing this third sign of being a chosen one. Remember, not all chosen ones will have dramatic or constant unusual experiences. For some, these experiences might be subtle or infrequent. What matters is that these experiences stand out to you as significant and meaningful. As we wrap up our discussion of this third sign, take a moment to think about your own life. Have you had experiences that you couldn't explain? Times when you felt like you were witnessing something magical or miraculous? These experiences, combined with the sense of purpose and heightened intuition we talked about earlier, could be signs that you're on a special path. In the next part of our video, we'll explore 2 more signs that you might be a chosen one. These signs are just as important as the ones we've discussed, and they might help you understand yourself and your experiences even better. Are you ready to learn more? Let's continue our journey of discovery. Certainly. I'll continue with the next 3 sections of the script, following the same style and tone as before. The 4th sign that you might be a chosen one is having a deep, almost magical connection to nature or feeling a profound sense of oneness with the universe. This isn't just about enjoying a walk in the park or liking animals. It's a much deeper, more spiritual connection that makes you feel like you're part of something much bigger than yourself. If you're a chosen one with this trait, you might feel most at peace when you're in nature. You might feel like you can communicate with plants or animals in a way that others can't. Some chosen ones even report feeling the Earth's energy or being able to sense changes in the weather before they happen. This connection to nature or the universe can show up in many ways. You might feel a strong pull towards certain places in nature, like forests, oceans, or mountains. These places might feel like home to you, even if you've never been there before. Plants might grow unusually well under your care. You might have a green thumb that goes beyond just being good at gardening. Animals might be naturally drawn to you, even wild animals or animals that are usually shy around people. You might feel deeply affected by changes in nature, like feeling sad when trees are cut down or feeling physically unwell when the environment is polluted. You might have a strong interest in astronomy or feel a deep connection to the stars and planets. You might experience a sense of timelessness or unity when you're in nature or meditating on the vastness of the universe. Let's look at an example of how this deep connection might show up in someone's life. Imagine a man named David. Ever since he was a child, David has felt most at home when he's outdoors. David notices that animals seem to trust him easily. Wild birds land near him without fear, and even shy animals like deer don't run away when he's around. He once helped calm a scared dog that wouldn't let anyone else near it. When David gardens, his plants thrive in ways that surprise even experienced gardeners. He doesn't do anything special. He just seems to know exactly what each plant needs. Sometimes he even feels like the plants are communicating with him, telling him when they need water or more sunlight. David also feels a deep connection to the wider universe. He loves stargazing and often feels a sense of awe and belonging when he looks at the night sky. Sometimes, when he's alone in nature, he feels a profound sense of unity, like he's connected to everything around him. This deep connection to nature or the universe can be a powerful gift for chosen ones. It often comes with a strong desire to protect the environment and all living things. Many chosen ones with this trait feel called to work in fields related to environmentalism, animal welfare, or spreading awareness about our connection to the natural world. However, this connection can also come with challenges. Chosen ones might feel overwhelmed by environmental destruction or animal suffering. They might struggle to understand why others don't feel the same deep connection to nature that they do. It's important for chosen ones with this trait to find healthy ways to act on their passion for nature without becoming overwhelmed. Here's a question to think about. Have you ever felt a deep, almost magical connection to nature or a profound sense of unity with the universe? Do you feel most at peace when you're in natural settings? If so, you might be experiencing this fourth sign of being a chosen one. Remember, not all chosen ones will have the exact same experiences with nature or the universe. Some might feel more connected to plants, others to animals, and others to the cosmos. What matters is that this connection feels deep and meaningful to you, and that it influences how you see your place in the world. As we move on to the next sign, keep thinking about your own experiences with nature and the universe. Have there been times when you felt a connection that went beyond what you can explain? Times when you felt like you were part of something much bigger than yourself? Now, let's move on to the fifth sign that you might be a chosen one. This next sign is about a special kind of wisdom that many chosen ones possess. Are you ready to learn more? Let's dive in. The fifth significant sign that you might be a chosen one is possessing wisdom that seems beyond your years or life experience. This isn't just about being smart or knowing a lot of facts. It's a deep understanding of life, people, and the world that usually comes only with many years of living. If you're a chosen one with this trait, you might have felt old even when you were young. People might often tell you that you're an old soul, or that you seem more mature than others your age. You might find yourself giving advice to people much older than you, or understanding complex life situations even if you haven't experienced them yourself. This wisdom beyond your years can show up in many ways. You might have insights into people's behavior and motivations that surprise others. You seem to understand why people do what they do, even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. You might be able to see the bigger picture in difficult situations, understanding how current challenges might lead to growth or positive change in the long run. You might have a strong sense of ethics and morality that you've had since you were young, even if you weren't explicitly taught these values. You might be drawn to deep, philosophical questions about life, the universe, and existence from a young age. You might have a talent for solving conflicts or helping others see different perspectives and arguments. You might feel like you've been here before, with a sense of familiarity about life that you can't quite explain. Let's look at an example of how this wisdom beyond years might show up in someone's life. Imagine a girl named Emma. From a very young age, Emma has shown an unusual level of understanding about people and life. When Emma was just 7 years old, her parents were going through a difficult divorce. While her older siblings were angry and confused, Emma seemed to understand what was happening on a deeper level. She told her mom, "I know you and Dad still love us. Sometimes grown-ups need to live apart to be happy." Her insight and maturity surprised everyone. As Emma grew older, her wisdom continued to show. In high school, she became known as the person everyone went to for advice. Even her teachers sometimes found themselves impressed by Emma's thoughtful perspectives on complex topics. Once, during a class discussion about a historical conflict, Emma pointed out motivations and consequences that weren't in the textbook, but that the teacher knew were accurate. Emma often feels like she's lived many lives. She's interested in history and sometimes feels like she understands historical figures and events in a personal way. She's also drawn to spiritual and philosophical ideas, enjoying conversations about the meaning of life that many of her peers find boring or too complex. This wisdom beyond years can be a powerful gift for chosen ones. It often allows them to help others in meaningful ways, offering insights and advice that can change lives. Many chosen ones with this trait find themselves drawn to careers in counseling, teaching, or spiritual leadership. However, this trait can also come with challenges. Chosen ones might feel isolated or misunderstood, especially when they're young. They might struggle to connect with peers who don't share their deep interests or insights. They might also feel pressure to always have answers or to be the wise one in every situation? Here's a question to reflect on. Have you often felt older than your actual age? Do people often come to you for advice, even about situations you haven't personally experienced? If so, you might be experiencing this fifth sign of being a chosen one. It's important to remember that wisdom beyond years doesn't mean knowing everything or never making mistakes. Chosen ones with this trait still have plenty to learn from life experiences. The key is that they seem to start with a deeper understanding than most people their age. As we wrap up our discussion of this fifth sign, take a moment to think about your own life. Have there been times when you've had insights or understanding that surprised others? Times when you felt like you have knowledge or wisdom that you can't explain? Now that we've explored all 5 signs, you might be wondering what to do if you recognize these signs in yourself. In the next section, we'll talk about what it means to be a chosen one and how to handle this responsibility. Are you ready to learn more? Let's continue. If you've been nodding along as we've discussed these signs, you might be realizing that you could be a chosen one. Maybe you've recognized one sign, or maybe all of them sound familiar to you. Either way, you might be wondering, what now? What does this mean for me? First, take a deep breath. Realizing you might be a chosen one can be exciting, but it can also feel overwhelming. Remember, being a chosen one isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about having a unique purpose and set of gifts that you're meant to use to help the world. Here are some steps you can take if you think you might be a chosen one. Embrace your uniqueness. Instead of trying to fit in or hide your gifts, start to accept and appreciate what makes you different. Your unique qualities are what will help you fulfill your purpose. Develop your gifts. Whatever your special abilities are, whether it's intuition, connection to nature, wisdom, or something else, work on developing them. Like any skill, these gifts can be strengthened with practice and attention. Seek knowledge. Learn more about spiritual and personal growth. Read books, attend workshops, or find a teacher or mentor who can guide you. Be open to learning from many different sources. Find your tribe. Look for others who share your experiences or understanding of the world. This might mean joining spiritual groups, attending retreats, or connecting with like-minded people online. Having a supportive community can make a big difference. Listen to your inner voice. Pay attention to your intuition and inner guidance. The more you listen to and trust your inner voice, the clearer its messages will become. Stay grounded. While exploring your spiritual side is important, don't forget to stay connected to the physical world. Take care of your body, maintain healthy relationships, and fulfill your everyday responsibilities. Use your gifts to help others. Remember, being a chosen one is about serving a greater purpose. Look for ways to use your unique gifts to make a positive difference in the world, even in small ways. Be patient with yourself. Understanding and fully stepping into your role as a chosen one is a journey. It takes time, and there will be challenges along the way. Be patient and kind to yourself as you navigate this path. Stay humble. While it's important to recognize and develop your gifts, remember that everyone has their own unique purpose and gifts. Avoid thinking of yourself as superior to others. Seek balance. Being a chosen one doesn't mean you have to save the world single-handedly or neglect your own needs. Find a balance between fulfilling your purpose and taking care of yourself. Let's look at an example of how someone might navigate realizing they're a chosen one. Imagine a woman named Maria. Over the years, Maria has noticed that she has many of the signs we've discussed. She has a strong sense of purpose, heightened intuition, and has had several unexplainable experiences. She often feels deeply connected to nature and has wisdom that others find surprising. At first, Maria feels overwhelmed by this realization. She wonders if she's just imagining things, or if she's really meant for something special. But instead of ignoring these feelings, Maria decides to embrace her journey as a chosen one. She starts by learning more about spiritual growth and intuitive abilities. She reads books, attends workshops, and even finds a spiritual mentor who helps her understand and develop her gifts. Maria also starts meditating regularly, which helps her feel more connected to her inner wisdom. Maria looks for ways to use her gifts to help others. She volunteers at a local animal shelter, using her connection with animals to help scared and abused pets. She also starts a small support group for people interested in spiritual growth, sharing her wisdom and creating a space for others to explore their own gifts. There are challenges along the way. Sometimes Maria doubts herself or feels the weight of responsibility, but she learns to be patient with herself and to trust in her journey. She finds balance by maintaining her regular job and relationships while also honoring her spiritual path. Over time, Maria becomes more comfortable with her role as a chosen one. She realizes that it's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about being true to herself, developing her gifts, and using them to make the world a little bit better. Here's a question to think about. If you believe you might be a chosen one, what's one small step you could take today to honor that part of yourself? Maybe it's starting a journal to record your experiences, or spending some quiet time in nature, or reaching out to help someone in need. Remember, whether or not you decide you're a chosen one, the most important thing is to be true to yourself and to use your unique gifts to make a positive difference in the world. We all have the power to bring more light and love into the world, chosen one or not. As we come to the end of our exploration of the signs of being a chosen one, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. How do these ideas resonate with your own experiences and feelings? What might change in your life if you embrace the possibility of being a chosen one? Certainly. I'll continue with the remaining sections and add a conclusion, maintaining the same style and tone as before. Now that we've explored all 5 signs of being a chosen one and discussed what to do if you think you might be one, let's take a moment to recap and reflect on what we've learned. We started by talking about the first sign, having a strong sense of purpose. Remember, this isn't just about knowing what job you want. It's a deep feeling that you're meant to do something important with your life. You might feel drawn to a particular cause or feel a need to make a big difference in the world. The second sign we discussed was heightened intuition and sensitivity. This might mean you often just know things without being told, or that you're very sensitive to other people's emotions and the energy around you. You might have strong gut feelings that turn out to be right, or you might be very affected by your environment. Our third sign was having unusual life experiences. These are events or occurrences that seem out of the ordinary or hard to explain. You might have experienced meaningful coincidences, vivid spiritual experiences, or moments that felt magical or miraculous. The fourth sign we talked about was having a deep connection to nature or the universe. This goes beyond just enjoying the outdoors. It's a profound feeling of being connected to the natural world or feeling a sense of oneness with the universe. You might feel like you can communicate with plants or animals, or feel deeply moved by the night sky. The fifth and final sign we explored was wisdom beyond your years. This isn't just about being smart. It's about having a deep understanding of life, and people that usually comes only with many years of experience. You might often give advice to others or understand complex situations even if you haven't experienced them yourself. Now, take a moment to reflect on these signs. Which ones resonated with you the most? Did you recognize any of these signs in your own life? Maybe you identified strongly with 1 or 2 signs, or maybe all of them sounded familiar to you. Remember, you don't need to have all of these signs to be a chosen one. Even having 1 or 2 of these signs could mean you're on a special path. And even if none of these signs fit you perfectly, that doesn't make you any less special or important. Every person has unique gifts and a purpose in this world. The key is to be honest with yourself about your experiences and feelings. Don't try to force yourself into the chosen one category if it doesn't feel right. But also don't dismiss your unique experiences or gifts just because they seem unusual or hard to explain. If you do feel that many of these signs describe you, think about how this knowledge might change how you live your life. How might you start to use your gifts more intentionally? How might you approach your sense of purpose with renewed energy? And if you're still not sure, that's okay too. Understanding yourself and your place in the world is a lifelong journey. The most important thing is to stay open, curious, and true to yourself. We've taken quite a journey together, exploring the signs that you might be a chosen one. We've talked about having a strong sense of purpose, heightened intuition, unusual experiences, a deep connection to nature or the universe, and wisdom beyond your years. We've also discussed what to do if you think you might be a chosen one. But here's something really important to remember. Whether you're a chosen one or not, you are special and you have a unique role to play in this world. The traits we've discussed, purpose, intuition, unique experiences, connection to the world around us, and wisdom, these are all valuable qualities that can help us live more meaningful and fulfilling lives. If you've recognized these signs in yourself, I encourage you to embrace your uniqueness. Develop your gifts, seek knowledge, find others who understand you, and look for ways to use your abilities to make a positive difference in the world. Remember, being a chosen one isn't about being better than others. It's about having a unique set of gifts and experiences that you can use to serve a greater purpose. If you didn't relate to these signs, that's perfectly okay too. You still have your own unique gifts and purpose. The key is to discover what makes you special and how you can use your own unique talents to contribute to the world. For all of us, chosen or not, the most important thing is to live with kindness, compassion, and a desire to make the world a little bit better. We all have the power to bring more light into the world, to help others, and to make a positive difference. As we end this video, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. Regardless of whether you think you're a chosen one, what unique gifts do you have, and how can you use them to make a positive impact on the world around you? Remember, the journey of self-discovery and personal growth is ongoing. Stay curious, stay open, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. You are on your own unique path, and that path is valuable and important. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the signs of being a chosen one. I hope this video has given you food for thought and maybe even a new perspective on yourself and your place in the world. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did you relate to any of these signs? Do you have your own experiences to share? Your thoughts and stories are valuable, and they might help others who are on similar journeys. Until next time, remember, you are unique, you are valuable, and you have the power to make a difference in this world. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.